Perhaps it was the victory of the last parak that convinced us that we had to continue to do what worked. But where Shmuel emphasized not only unity, but also serving Hashem, it seems we may have missed that part of the message. The facts are, we united, we defeated the Plishtim in battle, chased them out of the heartland of Am Yisrael, and at this point, for the moment, we're no longer under their control. So it seems simple. The equation is problem, our enemies in general, and in this case, the Plishtim in particular. Solution, we must unite. And a king will unite us. And so we ask for a king like all the other nations who will lead us in battle. And Shmuel's upset with us. All the Meforshim throughout the ages deal with this question, wanting a king or wanting a king like the other nations. But the Torah specifically says we'll ask for a king like all the other nations. And then some Meforshim say it says we'll ask, but doesn't say that we should ask. Either way, why should it bother Hashem if we have someone who's helping us with administration and even security? We're not planning on worshiping him. Again, there are many answers given. I'd like to focus on one. Unity is a good thing. A king can potentially help unite us. That could be a good thing too. There are times in life where some of our challenges can be weakened and become more manageable with outside help. A dear friend and mentor of mine who helped me a lot when I came on Aliyah stayed in touch with me over the years. One day he invited me to meet him at a restaurant, and while talking, he explained that he'd had a surgery to help him control his weight. I'm not a doctor, and I have nothing personally to say for or against such a procedure, but this was years ago, and I always remember how he explained it to me. It's like he had a surgery to take out a part of his Yetzer Hara. It's a gift we have today that can help us manage some of the challenges that we have, so why not embrace it? Again, this is an example and not advice for or against such a procedure. But we have opportunities like this all the time. A medication or therapist or procedure or mentor who can help us overcome challenges. That's a gift. I once heard an interesting quote. The main reason for a person to make mistakes is gaiva, because there's always someone he could have asked and learned from to avoid the mistake if he would have been humble enough just to ask. Interesting. In this case, if we'd come to Shmuel and said, we really want to unite in serving Hashem, and we feel that a king would help us on that path, maybe his response would have been different. Maybe not. But that's not what we said. We wanted a king to help us win wars. The issue is that we messed up the equation. We had said, problem, our enemies in general, in this case, the Plishtim in particular, solution, we must unite, and a king would help us unite. Really, the problem is that we weren't serving Hashem. The enemies aren't the problem. They're the symptom. The solution in that case is start serving Hashem. Unity is crucial, and it'll help us avoid or at least push off punishment, but it's only a step along the way. Will having a king help? In some ways. Interestingly, we want Shmuel to appoint a king. He himself isn't fit as he's too old, and his sons didn't follow in his ways. In fact, maybe the reason that they're sent to lead basically as far off in the periphery as possible by Beersheba is a sign that they aren't really the right ones to lead the entire nation. Perhaps. But the irony here is that we aren't asking for a shofet who's chosen for his good qualities and replaced by the next shofet chosen for his good qualities and so on. We're asking for a king. That means by definition that even if he is a good leader with good qualities, we have no guarantee that the next in line will continue in his ways. It could be anyone. And that's who we're more or less stuck with, barring, of course, rebellions and the likes. More on that in Sefer Melachim. Additionally, a monarchy will make it easier in some sense to unite, but has its own innate challenges as well. Being as in this program we try to use the sciences to help us envision, understand, and connect with the psukim, an interesting example of this can be found this time perhaps from sociology. In particular, what if we could analyze the shift that we were going through as a nation at this point in history, from tribe to monarchy, on groups of people in our times who are going through or who have recently gone through such transition in real time? This could help give us some insights into these societal transitions, which otherwise might be hard for us to really grasp. In some cases, when I want to discuss going from nomads to settlers, I often look to the Bedouin. We're going through that process right now, and it's fascinating to look into. For our purposes, we have to take it to the next level and look back a few generations, as here we have already settled and now we're looking to form a monarchy. This is what many of the Arab states have done in modern times. In particular, why many of the Arab states around us have serious issues, while some other Arab states, such as the UAE, do not. You don't have to agree with the following analysis. It's based more or less on ideas I heard from Dr. Mordechai Kedar as I understood them. Let's take Syria, for example. In its current situation, we have Assad, who comes from the minority group called the Alawites. Even though he's a minority, he came to power by force, and then he helps those in his own tribe and continues to rule by butchering those of other tribes. At times, they revolt and try to overthrow him, and he has to respond with even more brutality, and the cycle continues. At times, simmering below the surface, and at times, erupting. Same for Iran and many of the others. A small, violent minority takes control, takes care of their own, and controls the rest unfairly. While, of course, you'll have some who are wealthy, the overall economy and quality of life is generally not a good situation in these places. Why does this happen? Generally, in a tribal society, each tribe has a chieftain. He's responsible for his tribe. If there's not enough food, he eats last, making sure that everyone in his tribe has what they need first. That's tribal society. When these tribes unite, however, and one chieftain comes to power, he often continues to favor and care for his own tribe at the expense of the others. The UAE, on the other hand, is also made up of tribes, but they've found a way to distribute the balance of power among a group of representatives. In this case, Am Yisrael will unite from a tribal society to a monarchy. But despite being inherently one nation and one family, the rifts between the Shvatim don't simply disappear. While a great leader can help to bury these differences, they often tend to resurface time and again throughout the Tanakh. Even today, in modern Israel, parties will often try to incorporate members of certain groups within Judaism of today in a bid to gain more votes and electoral power. And this works because people want someone who they feel will represent them, their needs, and their voice in decision making. This is a turning point for us as a nation. And the biggest challenge to come for now is how to unite despite it all. And where's the most logical place to seek out a leader for such a complicated mission?